Hey guys, we're going to jump into chapter 5. This has to do with what's called systems of equations. So go ahead and pause and copy down these vocab words. A system of equations is a set of two or more equations that have the same variables. In other words, they both have x's, they both have y's, they both have z's, they both have g's, whatever it is. That's what makes it a system. The solution of a system is any ordered pair that satisfies all equations in the system. On a graph, this is where they intersect. Okay, so if this is my super simple equation, I have y equals x plus 2, then there is a specific value of this. If this is my other equation, y equals x, there's a certain value of this when these two things are going to be equal to one another. Well, not this one. Hold on. Let's do 2x. Yeah, y equals 2x. All right, so there's a y value. Like, for instance, if I make x on this one 2, then y has to be 4. So that's the ordered pair that would make this work. If I take that ordered pair and I try to plug it in over here, notice what happens. I have 2 times 2, which is 4, and my y equals 4. So that means this ordered pair is a solution for this, but it's also a solution for this. So this is a solution of a system. If I try to use another one of these, if I try to do, say, x is 3, and if x is 3, then on this one, y is 5. This is a solution to this one, but if I try to plug this in over here, I get 2 times 3, which is 6. Okay, so when x is 3 for this one, the y value is 6. It does not work for this one. So this is not a solution for both of them, but this one is. And notice it says this is where they intersect. So this is what we're going to be focusing on today, is how do we find these particular values. But first, a daily conspiracy theory. What if math teachers are really pirates? And they just want us to find the x so they could get the buried treasure. It's true. I admit. All right, solving a system by graphing using slope and y-intercept says solve the system by graphing. Notice on that definition you wrote from the first slide that it is where these values intersect. So let's go ahead and graph this. And remember, I start with the y-intercept. So that's -1. And then here I have a slope of 2, which is the same thing as 2 over 1. So from there I go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. And this gives me the line that is created by this. And I could even go down here and continue this same pattern, except this time I'm going down 2 and back 1. And I'm going to do my best to draw a straight line. It's hard on this thing. All right, so there's my first line. Then I have to go through and I graph my second one. So it's a y-intercept of plus 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a slope of -1. All right, that negative x is -1 over 1, which means I'll go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And of course, right where they intersect is where I messed up my line, but it's going to be, there we go, let's say that's better. Down 1 over 1 and so on, so that my line for this one is going to be right here. Where they intersect is the solution. All right, so I am interested in where they intersect, and then I need to identify what that ordered pair is. Well, it's right here, so it's an x of 2 and a y of 3. So by graphing, I could solve a solution, or I could find the solution of a system by seeing where the two lines intersect. Here's one for you to try. Go ahead and pause and give that a go. The answer will be up in 3, 2, 1. And there it is. The lines cross at the point 2, 0. That intersection is the solution to this, meaning that I could take 2 and put that in for x, and I get 0. And if I put 2 in for this one, for x, then I also get 0 for y. And that's the only point where that happens based upon, you could look at the graph, and then you could try different points. All right, solve a system by graphing. Solve a system by making a table. So on this one, instead of using the slope-intercept form that we were doing before, we are going to make a table. So for this first value, we will do an x value and a y value. We're going to do some mental math here, but we're just going to work through these things. So I'm going to start when x is -1. Okay, if x is -1, then what do I have to subtract from it to get 2? All right, so what do I have? Well, if I'm subtracting, I need to subtract a negative because that makes it increase. So that would be -3. And then we go on. If it's 0 and I'm subtracting, I want it to be +2, then I need it to be -2. I could try, let's see, we'll do 1. We'll keep going with this. 1 minus what is going to be -2? Well, we'll say that's -1 because that becomes +1. So there's a table, and we can plot these points. So I have -1, -3. I have 0, -2. I have 1, -1. Okay, I get the idea of what the line's going to look like. Okay, from there you could kind of figure out where the line, you really only need 2 and then probably 3 points just to make sure you're doing it right, to figure out where the line's going to go. And then here I need to make another XY chart. So I'm making a table just to plot the lines of these things. So we'll try these same values here. We'll go with -1, 0, and 1 and just see what happens. If I put -1 in here, I get -2. So -2 plus what value equals 1? Well, -2, I need a 3. All right, so y has to be 3 because I want it to be +1. If this is 0, then y has to be 1 because 0 plus 1 equals 1. And if x is 1, then that's 2x. I'm going to end up subtracting, so I need that to be a -1. So there are 3 points, and we could get an idea as to how this is going to move from this. So I plot these points, -1, 3, 0, 1, and then 1, -1. And I mean, you kind of see that it's going to end up, bam, crossing right there. And it's that ordered pair, and you could also see that they're both in the table. It's that ordered pair that's going to be the solution to this system. All right, so here's one for you to try. Go ahead and pause. The answer will be up in 3, 2, 1. All right, so here I figured out the direction of the line by making these 3 points. So here's the first one right here. Here's the second one right here, and I just extended those to see where they would cross, which they would cross right here at this point, 3, -2. So hopefully you got that. All right, so you need to rent a video camera. Video Barn charges $30 rental fee plus $35 per day. Allied Rental charges a $45 rental fee plus $30 per day. Which company should you choose? And then justify your answer. So the first thing that we need to do is come up with a couple function rules here. So Video Barn charges $30 rental fee, so that's a constant, plus $35 per day, which means we could represent that. Remember, we've talked about this. The per day stuff is almost always going to be what you're multiplying by. So it's 35x plus that $30. And then Allied Rental is a $45 rental fee, $30 per day. So it's y equals, this one is 30x plus 45. So here I have 2 different function rules. They are both written in slope-intercept form. So what I'm trying to find is where they cross. So down here, we'll say this is our number of rentals. This is 0. All right, so rentals. So what we're going to do is graph this and see where they intersect. So here I have, we'll just say 1 rental, 2 rental, 3 rentals, 4, 5, and let's see where that gets us. And then going up on this one, we'll say each one of these things is the value of 20. So we'll say that's 20, which makes this 40, 60, 80, 100. And I'm basing what these values are on, am I doing that right? Yeah. Hold on, that increased by 40. Wow. That needs to be 120, and this needs to be 160. See, I make mistakes. And that would be 200, and we'll just go with that one for now. So each one of these blocks is 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 80, 100, 120. Gosh, I'm off. All right, so that's right. Just trust me. Okay, so from here, these are all increasing by 40. So I'm going to plot both of these different ones and see where they are. So the Video Barn starts at 30. If this is 20, then 30 is going to be right here. And then it's $35 more per rental. So for one rental, it's going to be 35 plus 30 is going to be 65. All right, so I find where about 65 would be, which is going to be this spot right here. And I get a pretty good line that looks like it's going to increase in this direction. Let's do 2 rentals just in case. So that's going to be 2 is going to be 100. Right, so that's going to go right here. And we'll do our best with our line here. This is easier if you use a ruler. This one right here, Allied rental, is $45, right? So if this is 40 and this is 80, that means this is 60. That means that's 50. So 45 is going to be just right here. And it increases by 30 each time. So from there, it's going to go, one rental is going to be 75, which is going to be just a hair underneath this one. And then 2 rentals is going to be 60 plus 45 is 105, so that's going to be just a hair over this one. 3 rentals is going to be, let's see, that is 90 plus 45 is 135, so that's going to be right about there. And it looks like that's going to be the spot where they cross. So let's check that and just see if it works. Okay, so if x is 3 on this one, then that's 35 times 3, which is, let's see, 105 plus 30. So that's 3 and 135. That's for Video Barn. Let's try it on this one. So 3 times 30 is 90, plus 45 is also 135. All right, so that's my spot. Graphing to solve these, you're going to have to maybe double check your points, especially depending upon how wide your intersection is. So I know that's a little bit confusing. We'll have a couple problems like this in class where we'll work through them a little slower. I will say graphing is the worst way to solve a system in terms of accuracy. There's other ways that we will be going over in the next few days that are better. Graphing is just kind of our starting point. All right, so go ahead and pause. The answer for this one will be up in 3, 2, 1. All right, here you go. So this one, they cross at 570. On that last slide, I didn't talk about what that means, but if I'm looking at the graph, remember these lines represent cost. So this lower one is Rosie. This first one is Sam. So this is the cheaper cost. So if you're looking at which one should the Morris family choose, they should choose this one up until 5 hours. At 5 hours, it doesn't matter. And then after 5 hours, they're going to be paying more for Rosie. So if they know they want the scooters for more than 5 hours, they should pick Sam's. If they want it for less than 5 hours, they should pick Rosie's. If they want it for exactly 5 hours, it doesn't matter. All right, so that's how you'd write out this answer. Which company should the Morris family choose? And then that's how you would justify your answer. And I didn't go over that on this one. Let's look at it again real quick just to make sure. All right, so on this one, you know, we are video camera rentals. So you should do Video Barn until you get to 3 hours, and then after that, Video Barn becomes more expensive. So after 3 hours, if you're going to go longer than 3 hours, you want Allied rental. All right, at 3 hours, it's a wash. They cost the same. That's how you interpret those results. And that's it for today. So hopefully you took good notes. I will see you in class.